In 4 days' time.
Our daughter's gonna marry a guy she just met in Bali, millions of miles from home.
I just really want to kiss you. It's like I looked up for the first time and realized everything I ever wanted was right in front of me.
She's throwing her career away.
Just like her mother did. So I'm the only one who can stop her. She doesn't listen to him.
Oh, champagne.
I feel like in life, we meet people every day, but every now and then we meet someone and we mentally decide, you're gonna be my friend. And you guys have this epic friendship. You've been in so many movies together. I wanted to know, when was the moment you knew that you were gonna be friends for life?
When we met.
A week ago. About a week ago. Yeah, when we met. We
Why when I'm serious, you make the joke, and then you're serious when I make the joke?
Well, we got to change all of that.
Okay.
We have to be better. We have to be better people giving interviews.
Yes, okay.
So let's give an honest answer.
Oh.
It's last week.
When we met.
Yeah.
What from that moment, like?
There was just an ease and a comfort, and we just, I don't know, we're both from the South.
There was a lot of booze there too, which helps. You just drip, and then after you've thrown up on each other, you have to be friends. Isn't that kind of how it works? Once you, and then you're like, all right, I'll be your friend. I think that.
Okay, listen, speaking of throwing up,
Yeah.
here's my favorite thing George did in the whole movie. You didn't ask me what it was, but I'm going to tell you. Do you know what I'm going to say?
No.
When we were doing the dancing scene, and at one point I'm having to chug a glass of liquor, and I'm supposed to be so drunk that like I can hardly choke it down, and he's holding my hair back. He just grabbed my hair and he's holding it back while I'm trying to drink this thing.
Yeah.
And it was my favorite thing. It was just so, I thought that's a real friend.
That's so funny because when I saw that, I was like, I wonder if that's ever happened to them in real life, like not on
Never.
screen.
Never. He's never held my hair back.
I've never been drunk, really.
Me neither, actually.
No,
Julia, your character Georgia has David saved in her phone as something really funny in the movie, and it made me wonder what you have George saved in your phone under.
Well,
Schmuck.
Batman. Lowercase letters.
Oh, we could really? Wow, that hurts. You should see.
I know you're cooking up something really mean. I can
What
feel
do you
it.
have Julia saved?
I can feel it. I can feel it.
No, I'm not gonna say it. I'll be nice. Have it under.
J. Cell.
No, just back hair, and then it's comes.
Lowercase.
Lowercase. The lowercase is the worst. I love that you brought up Batman though, because George, with Keaton returning, I'm a major fan. Would you ever give it another go, Julia?
Well, I think that I did so well in the first one that I think I
top it.
I don't think I can top the work that I did with lines like freeze,
Oh.
because it's two
I got
freezes.
cold. I was cold just you doing that. I wasn't ready.
No, we try to get because it's two words, but it's the same word, freeze, and I have to
But
say
with different meanings.
Yeah, two different meanings. So I go freeze.
Wow.
See what I'm saying?
I am freezing right now.
Yeah. You're like Arnold Schwarzenegger in the movie right now. Yeah.
That's my favorite Batman movie, by the way, and I think you are the best.
Okay, well then
Bruce
you
Wayne.
actually have an issue.
No, I'm just a 90s kid. I'm just a
Okay,
90s
all right,
kid.
okay.
You guys have also done so many cool genres together. Heist, thriller, rom-com. Is there a genre you would want to tackle together that you haven't done yet?
Musical.
Yeah, opera.
Oh.
Or a nature documentary.
Yes, that's a genre.
I'll hover in the Land Rover while my partner Jim wrestles the live alligator.
Yes, let's do a musical animal thing.
Let's do a African musical.
Sure.
Opera.
Sure.
Yes.
Good.
Or
That'll
like an
play well.
Italian David Attenborough.
Out of Africa aria.
Yes, that'll play well.
Out of aria.
Out of Aria. You're so proud
Out of aria minds.
You're out of Aria.
We're out of Aria minds. I'm out of Aria time.
Oh,
That was
see how
good
you
though,
joined
right?
our
Nice.
club. I love it.
I could
Nice
do this
work.
all day. You guys are absolutely fantastic. Your chemistry is so effortless. I wish I could put it in a bottle and take it with me on dates.
You can actually.
Can you?
We
Are you
sell
guys
it.
selling it?
We'll be selling it at the concession of
okay.
the movie.
We'll be there in the back.
Yeah.
This is G'day.
Om swastiastu pa? Om swastiastu me?
Om swastiastu, G'day.
You learned that to make me look bad.
You don't need my help there.
You guys are so funny in this movie.
Oh,
I
thanks.
at first just had to ask you about the beer pong scene
Yep.
because it was so good. Tell me about shooting that. Like, who had the best shot, and what was it like playing that game with George and Julia?
Well, first of all, George is really good at it. He never
Yes.
missed a shot. So that was
Never.
perfect. Yeah, for like the you know.
Everybody
Whoa, really?
thinks that
Like
there's-
even practicing?
Oh my god, he's
I don't know if he
so good at
practiced,
it.
but he
I
was
also
good
have
at it.
never, I actually just for the first time after the movie, but at the time when we shot it, I had never played beer pong before in my life.
Oh.
Whoa.
And then when I actually just recently did it, I think maybe I was taking some pointers from George, and it was actually really good, and
Yeah.
they were kind of like shocked because I was like, I've never played before, but then I actually did really well. But no, and also everybody thinks that like we were actually drinking during that scene, which is not the case
No,
at all.
it was water.
Especially George and Julia, they really seemed like they were intoxicated, and they were not. It was all just water.
We just saw that first take, first scene, and we're just like, oh my god, this is brilliant. This is
Yeah, we were in awe of
Yeah.
what they were doing because we weren't expecting it. That whole bit was supposed to be choreographed, or I think that was originally the plan, but they were like,
Oh.
"No, we've got this," and we're like, "Ooh, what does that mean?" And then and then they did that.
So they're
What
gonna
you
go
see
here,
in the
they're probably
movie
gonna
is
go
like
here.
basically all one take. They just had like 2 cameras and they just went for it and were catching all of those moments, and it was genius.
It really was. It came off so fun.
And people
on
loved
screen.
it. I think when we premiered it in London, people clapped
Yeah,
after that
I
scene.
felt
It's
like,
like,
oh, they're just standing over there.
oh my god.
Yeah, when I was watching it last night, like everyone was just laughing so hard, it just took you back. That's why I wanted to first ask you guys about that.
Yeah.
But like, was it just a dream to work with them? And I guess, what advice would you have to a young actor going into a movie with George and Julia?
Oh, interesting. That's a good question. You know, I feel like I've always been, you know, I've worked with a lot of
I think
people
I asked you this question when I get it. You know, I was like, so what do
I mean, I think there's really no set formula, obviously, but I think that when you're, I mean, I've had such an amazing opportunity to work with such brilliant actors that I look up to so much, and it's really nerve-wracking when you feel like you're the kid on set and you don't want to bother them at all. But I think just like my advice would be just to not be afraid of that and to just like go for it, because it will affect the performance and the outcome of the movie and the scene. So and it really helps when they are just so welcoming and nice and sweet, and Julia immediately felt like she has such a motherly and comforting energy that was instant, and she made me feel so at ease. I really look up to her in so many ways. And George, again, is like such a good time to be around. I mean, literally everybody loves him on set. He's helping move cables and lift things, and constantly just like active. Always like
he's always
the
there
man
extra.
doesn't
Yeah,
sit
he's always
down.
on. Yeah.
He doesn't.
When are you tired?
Yeah.
I'm always on.
It's so funny. I love what you just said about Julia, because there's a moment towards the end of the film where, Kaitlyn, you have a scene with Julia and it's just you two, and it's a little emotional. And I remember watching it and I was thinking, I wonder what Kaitlyn's thinking right now, and is she observing or learning anything from her in this moment? And so I wanted to ask you about that scene.
She is so, especially with the words that she says to Lily, are so like profound, and the way that she says it, I just felt like I couldn't do anything else but believe exactly what she was saying. She's so good at what she does, and she really just lets the dialogue be what it is, and she's so natural and grounding in every way possible. That scene was really cool, just because, I don't know, one-on-one with Julia in a movie, in that kind of scene where it's, you know, 2 characters basically apologizing to each other, and there's so much love there, and I love her so much, and it just felt like it was really just the best day making that scene come to life.
Oh, I love hearing
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Maxim, I wanted to ask you the same about George, because you have so many great solo scenes with him. And then do you carry him at one point in the film?
yeah.
Do I remember that? I was like, did I remember
that
this
happens.
correctly?
So,
I need
yeah.
to hear about that.
So we were planning
Like,
to
how do
pick
you
him
pick up George Clooney?
I'll pick him up any day, don't worry. So we were supposed to pick up all together, but then it was so complicated. I don't know how we're gonna do that, like out of the water and stuff, and we had the camera following us. So I said, George, how about if we just how about if I just pick you up? Ah, good idea. Oh my God, we took it. You know, I was just like, okay. 5 hours later, I was still picking him up. it was awesome.
That's funny. Did you learn anything from your time with him, like by just observing him and the scenes you guys had together?
I mean, I've observed a lot, I guess, and I've seen his movie even before. So like finding out that he was actually the person that like I've always known, like through whatever interviews or something, was just like, oh my God, he's just that person. He's really that full on. He loves his job. Yeah.
It was funny. My producer was telling me that you both were in a movie called One Fine Day, but separate movies. So I just thought that was like a funny fact.
I was an extremely bad guy in that one. Yeah.
So funny.
Yeah.
Well, it's nice to see you like in this rom-com and in this space. Both of you guys were so good, and the relationship was so fun. Kaitlyn, you were mentioning earlier about working with these like huge actors, and obviously you worked with Keaton and Dope Sick, and now Clooney in Ticket to Paradise. And I'm just such a big Batman fan. You've worked with 2 Batmen, so I need to know, do you feel the bat signal calling you? Would you ever want to be in a Batman movie?
I thought you were going to have me choose between a Batman, which I cannot do.
No.
I'm not gonna
I am not cruel.
Even George asked me, and I'm like, George, no.
That was it.
I can't. I love you both so much. I really can't do
Wait,
that.
George Clooney asked you?
He's like, he asked me every day. I'm like, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing this with you. I'm not going to do it.
That's hilarious.
But, yes. I would love. Are you talking like the Batman world, or just like? Yes, I would. That's like a thing that I haven't done yet, and really wanting to do. I've always wanted to be in like a superhero type role, like kind of dream job.
Love it.
Yeah.
What about you, Max?
I'd love to be a Batman. Yeah. Of course. I mean, it's always been a dream of mine. Since I was a kid. Like, I mean. I've always watched superhero movies, Of course, one day I would love to.
Paul supports everything I do.
That's because everything she does is perfect.
He's exaggerating.
Are you?
I'm really not.
Lucas, I am so excited for you because I know you've been working for like 10 years now.
Yes.
And the fact that your face is on a big screen twice in the last 3 months, I mean, like that must be so insane for you.
It is. Yes, I'm just very humbled by the responses that I get, and to be lucky enough to, be in such inspiring stories and provide entertainment and escapism. It's hard to measure.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to stay focused on the fact that it's supposed to be fun, and I want to be able to capture all the essence of it.
Yeah. Well, you did. And it's funny, I hope you had fun doing it because it's so much fun watching you in this. Paul is so clumsy. And I was reading that you said that the physicality was a little bit of an uncomfortable challenge for you. And I was wondering, he's so amazingly clumsy and hilarious. What did you look to? Did you look to anything to sort of find that, or did you watch anything that inspired you in this movement?
I work with colors and animals.
Wow.
So basically, I found it when you're looking for a physicality, it's always interesting to find what animal this character would be in life, And and so for this one, I went with a sloth, which I paired with a hamster. And I know it's very weird. I don't even know why I'm sharing this process. But
what do you mean? This is amazing.
It's like sometimes if you're gonna play a like predatorial bad guy, you're gonna go maybe for a wolf, and you observe the physicality, and it kind of gives you something. And for this one, it was very like it's all about love, and so confident and happy that for me the sloth with his claws and always wanting to hug you and hug a tree. So that this was for the love, and the hamster was like this kind of tick boop boop boop, on the wheel, like spinning off the wheel, like bumping into a thing. So I kind of made that soup, and it was Paul. It just came exactly the way I.
It's so funny you say that because now it's like I literally pictured all those movements. Did you watch videos of? Because I've seen sloths in Costa Rica, and they're amazing.
Yeah, they are.
Literally to not exert energy, move that slowly.
Yeah, I watched a lot of videos. I mean, I didn't spend. I wasn't portraying a hamster or a sloth, so I didn't go that deep. But
It's giving sloth.
you know that moment where he's like surprise, and he's like, oh, you know, all that little hand gesture thing. It's all like hamsters.
I also wanted to ask you about the kiss you have with Julia, because it's like iconic cringe and so amazing.
Iconic cringe.
What was it like shooting that?
That's a cool association. Iconic cringe. This should be my biography name. Iconic Cringe by Lucas Bravo.
I would read it.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a 2-page biography.
One page is about sloths and the other is about hamsters.
2 pages. Signed by George Clooney.
And you have to take a Casamigos shot before. What was it like shooting that scene?
Wait, which scene are we talking about?
The kiss.
Oh, yes. Well, it's just a kiss, you know. At the end of the day, it's you have to forget about the fact that you know every single movie Julia's been in, that you're a fan, that she's the most beautiful woman in the world, the most talented, and when she smiles, butterflies are flying and rainbows are shooting in the sky. So you put all your life, yourself aside, and you become Paul. So I was with my sloth and my hamster, and I was like, okay, kissing scene. Amazing. I love this person so much. I wanna. It's, you know, we're professionals at the end of the day. We cannot be distracted by our fanatism.
Yeah, like being a fan of someone. Yeah, absolutely. What about with George? Because with
George we kissed. We kissed I was a fan, and we just I couldn't hold it.
You couldn't hold it in.
Twice sexiest man alive. I couldn't. I had to. Yeah.
I know. 2 times sexy. It's wild. I was reading that Julia Roberts really wanted someone cast as Paul that would really piss off George Clooney.
I read that
when she
recently.
saw your tape, she was like, "There he is," which I thought is so funny. So, what was it like being able to play a character that gets under George Clooney's skin? And did you have any fun moments with him on set?
It's I get that a lot, but at the same time, we had such a beautiful relationship with George that it's hard to imagine that I could ever get under his skin, because it just took me under his wing and helped me navigate this entire journey, gave me such great advice, and just made this entire experience a dream. You know, we laughed, we played, we drank, everything was just. Everything was a good memory. It's always good news, you know.
Did you ask him about Batman at all? He's like my favorite Bruce Wayne.
We talked about it. And I was like, you know, George, you need to be. You don't be so hard on your Batman. I actually loved it as a kid.
I loved it. He didn't believe me, and I was like, I'm a '90s kid.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I was like, no, that was the best one.
I loved it.
Yeah,
I loved the ice and the surfing on the dinosaur and.
Yeah.
And he wouldn't believe that I was actually not being sarcastic.
Same.
It's a reference in my childhood, and so yeah. One day he'll believe me. I'm still working on that.
Well, I'm so excited for people to see you in this movie. I know you are also going to be in another rom-com called The Honeymoon, and I was thinking about how the honeymoon's in Italy and Ticket to Paradise is in Bali, and Miss Harris Goes to Paris, and Emily in Paris is in Paris. And so I was wondering, for your next project, where do you hope that project or that film or plot takes place?
I would love to shoot something in Japan.
Be amazing.
That would be like, oof, I could end my career like, okay, thank you, good. I just the idea of being, you know, in a location for for 3 months, like, is perfect, because you really have time to, you know, dive in and know the place, and I would love to shoot a movie in Japan.
Is there a genre that you would love to explore that's not like in the romantic comedy?
I love everything as long as the story has a meaning. I think I love kind of informational movies, you know, like Mark Ruffalo does, you know, Spotlight, Dark Waters. Movies that
based on a true story,
and that you know, gives a message that everybody should hear, and I don't know, add a little gravitas to my range.
I love that. Well, I can't wait to see you in a future informational film. What advice, I can't leave without asking you about, what advice do you have for someone trying to get along with their partner's ex?
I don't know. I'm in good term with all my exes, so I'm not a great advice for that. I think you should always leave a story before the sourness kicks in. You know, when you're still friends and there's still love, and it's hard to do because as a normal human being, you want to salvage that love. You want to save it from burning, but there's a moment where you have to sacrifice the last bits of love that you have and leave if you want to stay friends for a long time, which I'm able to do for some reason. So just leave when it's still time.
Here you go.
It's not for the faint of heart.
This is not his first rodeo.
Okay, let's go. Let's go.
Here we go. Which one?
There's only one.
I see two. Oh, yeah.
Oh, no. Dad, please stop doing that. Oh, my God. I'm praying for an asteroid.
Oh, as a hopeful romantic, I just want to thank you for bringing this romantic comedy
A hopeful
to the
romantic.
big screen.
A hopeful romantic.
Yes.
That's a lovely
hopeful.
thing to-
You never heard that term
How's
before?
that going for you?
Absolutely fabulous.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
great.
still waiting on my meet cute.
Okay.
But I love rom-coms so much,
Mm-hmm.
obviously, as do many people, and I wanted to know why do you think people love them, and why do you think we need them?
I think we need them now because these are dark and desperate times, I think. And so anything that brings... Also, I think consciously we did have the chance with this movie to sell it to streamers and to, go straight to smaller rooms and smaller screens. And it was very important to us to make a movie, to laugh, to try and get a lot of people in a room laughing together. Do you know what I mean? Because that's something we've all missed desperately over the last 3 years. So... yeah, I think it's incredibly needed. These are difficult times, and so anything that can provide I started writing it with my friend Dan at the beginning of the pandemic, and just the writing of it was an antidote to the smallness and difficulty and darkness and fear that we were all living through. And so just to be writing something in sunny climes with funny people was amazing. So then to get to make it was ridiculous.
It's so surreal. How are you feeling now, having just explained that? And here we are, and it's not out yet. The world hasn't seen it. So how are you feeling like right now in this moment?
I feel. It's been lovely so far. It's been really
Yeah.
nice. We had the premiere in London a couple of weeks ago, and that was great. And so, yeah, proud and anxious, obviously, but thrilled and grateful. Yeah.
But
yeah.
you're such a veteran. You've done like the Mamma Mia movie.
Yeah.
Here we go again, Mamma Mia, The Best Exotic Marigold Hotel. What would you say are like the key ingredients to a successful rom-com in this modern era? Because seeing George and Julia, I was born in the 90s.
Yeah.
So there is some nostalgia there.
Yeah.
But for the modern era, what are those key successful
You
ingredients?
got to care. I think you got to care. You could, in the end, you can be funny. It's not to forget the rom, basically, in the com. Like you've got to care. And I think maybe where the genre started to fail is that you stopped caring, and it started to be more about set pieces and a lurch from set piece to set piece, and the cliches became a bit more obvious. The airport dash or the public declaration started to be kind of overused. You know what I mean? Or you feel like you've seen them and you stopped caring. And so the great thing about working with these guys, apart from the fact that they're geniuses and gorgeous and all that stuff, is the kind of shared history that they bring with them, and just how much people want to believe in their friendship and want to see them hook up. Do you know what I mean? Maybe not literally, but we had the screening the other night, and there's a kiss in the movie, and there was just applause in the cinema, which I've rarely heard, because that's how much people want them to be together. So in the end, that you have to care. That would be my main ingredient.
Yeah, it's so true. Because I also read that you said, you could have the best script ever in the most amazing backdrop, but sometimes it lands on the chemistry of the two leads.
Did I say that? Yeah.
Yeah, you did. I read that you said that.
Thank you very much for reading my
No,
not
of
not
course.
that I'm arguing that this is either of those things, but you've got to, that's the bit.
Yeah.
In the end, it's like all the fuss behind the camera doesn't matter what's on screen. And you've got to in the end, you need to want to see the two of them hook up, in whatever form that takes. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what you need. And so if you have that, and George and Julia bring that with them, which is a gift for me.
It's
Makes my
such
life
a
much
gift,
easier.
and you're giving that gift. You're sharing it
Makes
with the
my
world.
life
So
much
thank you,
easier.
because I was also reading that you wrote this script with both of them as the leads in mind.
From the very first conversation.
So I was
about
wondering,
it,
was there a film that they did together, and was there like a scene that they had together previously that was an aha moment
I think
for you?
they're brilliant. Ted Griffin wrote Ocean's 11 and 12, I think. But the brilliant scene where she says you're a liar and a thief, And he says, I never lied about being a thief, which is, I think, probably the best 2 lines they've ever written. And then he says, does he make you laugh, about Andy Garcia? And she goes, he doesn't make me cry, which is also a brilliant bit of writing. So, but it's also just their shared friendship on and off screen as well. You know, the history of them. Do you know what I mean? But so the way they play together, you know, was just brilliant for me. And they really do. Their friendship's real and genuine and will last forever. So it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, and you went downstairs, and I actually went into the room to talk to them right after you, and you could just feel their friendship. I was telling them that I wish that I could bottle up their chemistry and take it with me on dates, and they were joking, and they were like, yeah, you could buy it in the gift shop after.
That would be nice. I'd buy some. I'd get some of that. No, it's great. And
what are your thoughts on their chemistry?
It's beautiful. I mean, I can't tell you how many times we do a scene, they're sitting there chatting, or, you know, we do the scene, and then I go, okay, we're just going to relight. It would be 20 minutes, and normally actors would go back to their trailers and do the thing, and they would just stay there, and we would light around them, and they'd be laughing together in the middle, and then you'd be like, okay, ready, and they go, okay, cool, and then they carry on. So it's warm and it's real, and their families love each other, and Danny, Julia's husband, was there, and Amal was there with the kids, and Julia, you know, popped around. You know, she's like a godmother to both the kids, and you know, it's lovely. I mean, nothing but a gift for me, and to hang out with them is pure joy.
Must have been so fun. Did you learn anything from having done, you know, other sort of rom-coms by watching George Clooney and Julia Roberts?
Yeah, I mean,
together?
she's the queen. She's the queen, and when she says they're both very good at taking stuff away. I don't need that. I don't need that. I can do that with a look. You know, they're amazingly good at knowing what's right and tonally what's right. So every day was a school day for me.
Is there one thing in particular that you could share with us that you were like, wow, that's interesting, I've never picked up on that?
I think actually, I mean, the thing that the younger actors took from that is their work ethic, is how hard they work. There's them radio mic'd, and so I have cans. And there's one day we did, it's a really hot day, and by the end of the day, both Billy and Kaitlyn would admit that they were slightly flagging. And I could hear George and Julia going, we still got it, because every take, they just bang on, they know everyone else's lines, they know where the camera is. You know, and it's not just experience, it's commitment as well. Wow. And they're there to have fun, and they do have fun, and they love what they do, but they work really hard, and that's obviously another gift for me.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah.
You mentioned the younger actors. Kaitlyn is she's so incredible. Did you see her in anything previously?
I'd met her
were
before
like,
for something else that didn't work out, and so she was my friend, and then I bumped into her a bit before and said, I've written something for you, I'm going to send it to you. And normally that's the really naff chat-up line, do you know what I mean? Which is incredibly not what it was. And she's like, yeah, sure, great. And I said, no, I really have. And so, it was the easiest decision in the world. And then George and Julia were both huge fans of hers, so I think I told them, I didn't ask their permission, but I said, I'm going to offer Lily to Kaitlyn Dever, and they were both like, oh, amazing. So, it was a really happy thing. So all three of them were sort of in my head all the way through the writing. Yeah.
It's amazing.
Which never works out.
No, it was so good, and she actually looks like that. You know what I mean?
I had photos.
Because it's the worst when they don't look like.
When I was writing, I had the three of them on the wall, and I was like, I could see that. That works.
Totally.
Yeah, I could see
the whole
that.
time I was like, I could see this.
Yeah, no, I had the three pictures up on the wall.
It was so good, and the Lucas Bravo casting was just, it's just so fun.
He's so much funnier than I thought he'd be.
He was so hilarious.
Yeah, because he's obviously the most handsome man in the world, and that's fine. And so his tape came in, and I was like, oh great, it's the hot chef from Emily in Paris. And I have to say, sit down to it with enormous excitement. And within about 10 seconds, it's like, oh, okay. And then I called him up and we worked on it together. And he's you talk to him, he's a lovely guy. You'll fall in love. He's a lovely guy. You're hopeful romantic. Meet Lucas Bravo. Yeah, meet Lucas Bravo. He's sensational. And it was brilliant telling Julia it was him as well.